I wasn't planning to make this video today, but my new tripod arrived, which is so much better and easier to use than having to sort of attach a phone clamp to a microphone arm stand, which is sort of what I was doing. I guess that's inspired me to just get this done. Out of the 3 months of this year that we have had so far, March has turned out to not be my favourite, which is a really generous way of saying that it has been pretty a lot happened and changed in this month that was unexpected and sudden and not what I had in mind or expected for myself. And in reflecting on the last month, I've realised that I have not been dealing with that well at all. In fact, I've almost avoided dealing with it altogether. I mean, I cut my hair, I dived into uni study, I kept working long hours. I then got home from those long hours and decided that then was the time to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer to even later hours. And I guess that was all in the hope that I wouldn't be left alone with my thoughts and emotions and have to address them at all. Do not get me wrong, I am so glad that I impulsively cut my hair at like 11 p.m. in my bathroom, but it only does so much. In reflecting on this last month, I realised that I had pretty much let go of the majority of the things that I use and sometimes even rely on to stay mentally healthy and take care of myself. So I've basically designed April to be a bit of a reset. Now, do not get me wrong, I know how that may now sound, but give me just like 2 moments to clarify. First of all, I want to be more self-disciplined and intentional in my routine and scheduling, both of which do not really exist. Secondly, I want to see how beneficial it really is to stick with the habits that I set for myself at the start of the year that I was wanting to implement daily. Thirdly, I want to see how realistic those habits are and if they are actually things I can have be a part of my day-to-day life, or if that's just a little bit unattainable. And fourthly, like sticking to these habits and being really intentional in setting aside time for them also ensures by default that I'm setting time for myself that I need to work through my thoughts and spend time with them and just really think through my feelings in a way that I've carved out that time to do that. And yeah, that is something that I really have been missing. I'm not trying to change my life in a month. I'm not trying to fix up my life or say that these habits are going to suddenly bibbidi bobbidi boo everything away. All I'm trying to do is just be more intentional in doing the things that I know make me feel better and that I know will help me get in a better mindset and mind space to work through just what I need to work through. I guess the way that I'm going to be approaching all of this is just being really careful that it doesn't become this challenge or this glow up or this just ridiculously perfectionistic, unattainable thing that I'm setting for myself. I'm just wanting to be really reflective and track any differences that I notice. Yeah, just be really self-disciplined and hold myself accountable to whether or not I'm actually setting aside time to do the things that I love to do and things that I know are good for me to do each day. So the first thing that I have done in all of this is a habit review. I've gone back, I've looked at my habits that I set aside at the start of the year. The way that I'd written them out was a very clear way that I could visualize them in my daily schedule or how they would fit in my day-to-day life. And that really hasn't needed much changing, and the habits that I'm wanting to do each day haven't changed. They're still what I'm wanting to give my time to. I'm not going into any of this with a 100% or perfectionist mindset or approach. I just know that I want to try and do as many days in the month sticking to these things. Something that I am keeping in mind is the 2-day rule. I think that might be in James Clear's book, The Power of Habit. Basically, if you skip a day, you just try to really make sure that you don't skip 2 days in a row, because that's when you can get into the habit of, or I guess that's where you can, almost fall into the habit of undoing that habit or not having that habit be a thing that you do daily. A large part of how I've thought through all of this and tried to schedule in my habits is by grouping habits together. So instead of being like, oh, here are 14 things that I want to be doing every day, it's like, no, here is a set of things that just turn into a morning routine. I think a quick reminder of my habits might be in order. So from top to bottom, rising early and wanting to be waking up at the same time, just so that that is hopefully something that my body clock adjusts to, because right now my sleeping is everywhere. I'm going to try and set 6 a.m. as my wake up time. If that proves to be unrealistic, then I'll probably adjust it to 7 a.m. Morning pages is going to become a morning brain dump mind map, because for me, writing out a page in stream of consciousness thought is not really something that I was doing very well anyway. I feel as though my thoughts go everywhere all at once. If I was writing and jumping from one thought to another, but in like a linear form in my writing, I couldn't like really go back and revisit that thought unless it was like a lot further down the page. Whereas I feel as though if I mind map, I can have that section of the page be for this section of the page be for that, have arrows everywhere. I feel as though that's what my brain really needs when it's trying to get all of my thoughts out and onto a page. It's a really long way of explaining that. Next thing, reading the Bible. I do that anyway, but I think for me, I've not necessarily been doing that first thing every morning. Like I find that I start off my day on the wrong foot if I don't set aside time to do that in the very first hour of me waking up. 30 minutes of dedicated movement or exercise. That is something that I have not been doing. Practice Dutch. That is something that I'm still really wanting to do, and something that I find a lot of joy in doing. I'm still thinking a lot in Dutch. I find that I still like jump to words in my head, but I'm also wanting to learn a lot of other languages as well, and I feel like my brain gets really excited by that and can kind of be more motivated to practice a language if I have multiple languages or to choose from on a day. At the moment, it's just opening up Duolingo or doing an exercise in my book, and it doesn't have to be long, it doesn't have to be 5 minutes, it just has to be opening the app, doing one exercise, going from there. Have 30 minutes of me time. This is something I'm wanting to be a lot more intentional about. I think when it comes to my me time, I'm really wanting that to be rostered into my day. I know that that sounds so ridiculous to like schedule in time for yourself during your day. I'm just wanting to be more intentional. At 4 o'clock, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do this. And then I can look forward to it more, and I'm more motivated to get work done before that time because I have that to look forward to. Look at tasks at lunch and before bed. That is something that I've been pretty good about doing. I think I'm really just wanting to check how my bullet journal is working for me. I feel like during this time I haven't really been in my journal a lot. I've kind of been in it on and off, but I think I'm just really wanting to purposefully use the spreads and the pages that I already use, see if I actually need them, see if they actually work all together. If I use them intentionally, do I find that I do actually need them and I do actually use them well? Reflect on the day before bed. It's not something that I normally do, and I think if I just remind myself that it can be one sentence about what happened that day or how I felt about that day, that's all that it needs to be for me. Drink 2 liters of water. I'm not lying if I say that the majority of my water intake has been sporadic cups of tea throughout the day. Track all spending. I need to do that. I am still thoughtful in my spending. Like when I am then spending money, I am then doing the brain process of categorizing it and thinking, is this a good thing for me to be spending my money on? But the fact that I'm not holding myself accountable in my journal, I do notice a difference. Decide on clothes for the next day. The times that I have done this, my morning has been so much more enjoyable, and I just put on the clothes and I go. And I think that there are times when I'm so tired before bed that I guess I tell myself that I'll lie in bed and plan out my outfit in my head. It's different. It's different when you wake up and you don't even have to look for the clothes. The clothes are there, they are ready to go. That is such a simple thing that I'm just not doing for myself. Waking up and seeing those clothes, it's a game changer. And then my last habit is track all habits, reflect and adjust, which is why we are here. What I am going to do is basically try to implement these things every day, doing it in my routine. I'm going to be scheduling them into my Google Calendar schedule. I'm going to be vlogging through the week as an accountability thing, and then hopefully putting together maybe a weekly check-in video of as a reflection on how the week has been. Then at the end of the month, I will do a bigger reflection video on how did it go? Did I actually enjoy it? What is changing? What has happened? Has it been beneficial? I'm feeling ready to have a bit more structure in my day-to-day. yeah, I guess take you along for the ride, just see what happens. That's all for today. That's pretty much the general idea of what I'm going to be doing over the next month. But I just thought I'd fill you in. I thought I'd let you know what was happening. I guess I'll see you next time.